How do you think Brodie Croft looked today?
Thought he looked like Brodie Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds have won back-to-back rugby league titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Peacock.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds. It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league now.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
The Lot Pod is kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Fast Signs are an established family-run business who've been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast. Hi everyone, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17-8 podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Match review panel time, and joining me as always, he is my co-host, he is my left-hand man, right-hand man as you watch. It's Statman Rhys. Well, you're back.
We're back.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Where have you been? How have you been?
Where have I been? Working.
Working.
How have I been? Shit.
Free from work.
Yeah, no, all good, thank you. It's nice to be back.
It is, and it's nice. It's lovely to have you back. And joining us again, second week running, on for the hat trick.
Yeah.
Potentially. It's Phil. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good.
And finally, reviewing a win this season.
That's why we've had to have him bring him back, though.
Because
Emergency, big money transfer, one a last minute
pull him off the
substitution.
bench. So how do you feel, Phil, knowing that the previous poor form was not entirely your fault?
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. I was trying to explain this to you last week, but it's nice to have just to review a win. It's been a good weekend, hasn't it?
On what is your
Leeds and Sports? Fourth time I've been here.
I'm not going to say we didn't believe you, Phil, but we didn't believe you until Friday.
I know. It's funny though, because like on the win where I was stood in the ground, there was an old bloke that stood at back of us, and when we were getting beat, he went, we'll win this 18-6. and my mate turned around and said to him, I'm glad someone's optimistic. And then when he scored and went for that penalty and made it was 16-6, wasn't it? And then he said he's going to go for goalie, and it was 18-6. And we were just like, that bloke, he must. How did he know?
Must have put
because he's Santa. He's got magic powers.
But yeah, he went. A good win for Leeds and a good weekend for Leeds Sport.
Absolutely, with scum. And I did have a feeling. I did tweet. I did.
It'd be nice if Rutter had scored winning goal.
Got one, yeah.
I was in my local pub, and the landlord is a Man U fan, and I could just see him just running behind the back of the bar. I went, "Oh, you're losing, are you?" So that was quite enjoyable.
90 plus 5 minutes or whatever.
Delicious.
And also, sport-wise, American football finally came back this weekend
back
as well.
Is it full season or pre?
No, it was the college started. Right. It was Georgia Tech versus Florida State in Dublin. Our friend Adam was there.
In Dublin?
In Dublin.
College football?
In Dublin. Yeah.
And where were it held? What stadium?
Aviva Stadium in Dublin.
Sold out.
College football in America is just like normal NFL, isn't it? It's just like it's massive.
Is that the first time it's ever happened?
No, they've done it for about the last 4 or 5 years.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
It's coming to UK though soon.
It comes to London all the time. That's the NFL.
Do they get
NFL, but
do they get paid?
College, no. No, they get endorsements and stuff, and
that's diabolical.
And now they've got the game out now, and they get endorsements from that and stuff.
I just remember
they just play American football. They don't do any lessons or studying or whatever.
Do.
Yeah,
no,
I'm genuinely.
They've got to maintain the grades.
GPA, they've got to get a certain GPA in the grades, otherwise they get kicked out of the team.
I'm astounded by that.
Yeah.
Never ever.
But anyway,
knew
our mate Adam was there in the Aviva Stadium, so I was texting him. Me and Laurie were watching it on telly, whilst Huddersfield were getting battered.
They got well and truly thumped, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Anyway,
that's true. Anyway, we don't have to fill. We won.
I know, I'm back kind of throwing tangents. I'm so used to...
Everybody's happy.
To fill. We're so used to filling because we play shite that we're filling when we don't have to. Catalans versus Leeds. Leeds versus Catalans. The game was billed as I look back at 2 landmark wins for the Rhinos. Obviously, it was 10 years since 2014 Challenge Cup win, which meant a lot to that Leeds side to finally win the Challenge Cup. And obviously, they ended up with 2 cup wins eventually because they followed it up in 2015. 20 years since 2004. I'm looking at you as the older people
thanks.
in the room, both of us. Laurie mentioned this week on X that when Danny went over and scored, that he cried. And I did too. I was 16, 17 at the time. I was absolutely bawling. And Steve as well, Steve Hodgson on X also mentioned he was sat around loads of older people that night and they were just in that dump and they were all emotional. And I think you must have gone.
It brings that emotion, doesn't it? I think it's...
We finally got one.
Yeah, when you finally supported something for so long and a team and then everything does come to fruition after all loads of false promises and stuff and things like that. But yeah, that first one, but I mean, how quick's 20 years gone by?
I can't believe
that's
that.
The scary
How old are we
part,
getting?
innit? I know.
How old were you?
I was 10.
10.
So, I mean, my memory of
I was 26.
it was the first sort of Rhinos rugby I remember going to matches before that. But 2004, the grand finals really was the main thing that kicks into my memory as one of the first games I watched or saw. And we watched it at some family friend's house, and the kids were in one room, and all the adults were in the other. But back in the day when Sky was a bit dodgy, if you jumped up and down in the spare room which all the kids are in, it cut out Sky in the whole house. So when Danny Maguire went over, obviously all those kids just jumped up, and all you hear is my mate's dad going, "You bastards, what are you doing?" Because we cut Sky out. So I've got quite a few memories from that game from remembering it. But yeah, so that was the start of my fan. Being as a kid, you want to support a team that wins, and then going through that journey from 10 years old, watching that 2004 team get onwards.
It was hard. Well, I think
it was hard not to get hooked.
Not to get hooked onto it, but I think previously to that, we'd seen Wigan dominate everything in the league, and before that,
it was horrific.
It was nice just to have our turn on it and actually get it. And
at the time, I didn't even care if I never ever saw him do it again.
No,
I just thought I finally seen one because you'd have been. Were you in around in '92 when United won the league?
No, I was not. I wasn't. No,
you weren't. See, I was 6.
Now we feel old.
I was 6 or 7 when we won it. So, like Rhys said there, like when it's finally get to see someone win something, and when United won the league, I thought I can get used to this.
Well, you're blessed
get used
to see
this.
it.
We've just won the league.
When you support a team and you see them come like the best and like win the league or the Challenge Cup or something and be that victorious team, you can support a team all your life, and depending on where your loyalties are, you might not even get to see him lift a trophy. Yeah. But to be there and actually see it, and
I think that 2004 win, I could probably, if I'm getting how you felt, is probably how I felt when Leeds got promoted out of the Championship with Bielsa. I think that's probably the same feeling of elation and emotion that came with it, and I kind of get that.
But I can't believe it's 20 years.
No.
20 years ago, yeah.
No, it's scary.
What's even scarier, I think, is next year it'll be a decade since Kev, Kylie and JP left.
God, yeah.
Did you hear that deathly silence?
They all could probably come back and do a job, for the team, couldn't they?
However, not a bad year to get the grand final back again. Win the grand final, 10-year anniversary of the treble.
A treble again.
A treble again.
10 years on, under Brad Arthur, of course. Well, we're Leeds fans, and we're getting really good at looking back, aren't we? And telling everybody
that's all we've got. That's all we've got.
History, RLFC. Let's talk about the present or Friday night. Catalans versus Leeds. Positives. Statman Rhys, you are back. What positives can the Rhinos take from this one?
I think one of the positives is that I think player of the match is actually going to be quite hard to decide tonight.
Again,
because
there were a few
I've written 5 names down that I think are all honourable mentions that I thought played out amazing. One was Jared O'Connor. I'm going to take slightly credit for this because I saw him before the game. You couldn't get them all opposite of athletes. Jared obviously preparing for the game. Me, large fish and chips, curry sauce. Already managed to spill it down my hoodie.
All down his top.
Already managed to spill it down my hoodie. Yeah,
all down his top.
I apologise, Jared, if I got any on you. I did offer him some fish and chips. He said no. But clearly that
ever the pro
sparked the performance. But I thought Jared and also T&W, that first 20 minutes in that second half, they were so responsible for the speed of the game, that the change from there. I thought Ben Sauce was excellent, Miller, Fussy. So I think the player of the match is my positive because it's going to be quite difficult to decide because it was quite
because there's so
players.
many.
Yeah. And I also thought that in the first half, I mean, it was just prime Catalan, wasn't it? It was prime.
Yeah, audible.
Slow it down. Liam Moore was letting them just slow it down at the ruck, and it was just prime Catalan of Steve McNamara, isn't it? Frustrate them. Don't let them have the ball. Don't let them play their game, and then to switch that on the head so violently in the second half in terms of the drastic between the control of the game between the first and the second was was magnificent. Obviously, I want us to see 80 minutes, but the reaction in the second half, I think, is a good positive.
Positives for you, Phil?
Bit similar to Rhys. First half with a little bit, like you said, Catalans dominated, didn't they? They've got a big pack. But I don't think sometimes we weren't smart enough. We should have been moving them about from off, I think.
Yeah, I felt so.
And I think, but we try to beat them up middle with no
middle.
pack.
No middle.
You know?
Well, I still think we beat them up the middle in the second half, but there just wasn't that oomph, is there?
Yeah.
And you hear it in the behind the game at half time where Brad's talking about you need to start winning that contact, and we just weren't doing anything right in the first, and we were just letting them frustrate us and let them play their game. Whereas in the second half,
we changed our mindset, I think, when we came out, and I think it'd be like magic of the weekend, wasn't it? If we'd have had that first half and this second half this week and put them together, I think that's probably what one of the challenges is now, is getting that consistent 80-minute performance rather than a game or 2 halves technically. But positives, Brodie Croft were back. He looked as attack looked miles better. I mean, for all, he looked like he'd been doing some sprint training as well, because when he supported, he actually looked quite rapid for once.
He didn't he?
But yeah, I thought his attack were better. The substitutions what he made positives, so that they were really like game changing to speed the game up, and that's where we were able to capitalise off the back of it, I think.
You've both mentioned him, prop James Bentley. Absolutely flourishing under Farmer. I loved his little head strap, by the way. Just made him.
I've got a beef with Love Rugby League, by the way.
With who?
With Love Rugby League about Bentos.
Right.
They gave him a 5 on the player ratings.
They've not watched the game.
They've just gone on his reputation, I
They've
think.
not watched the game.
I mean, there was one silly mistake he did in the first half where he lifted a leg and did a tic-tac, which was just stupid. And
it was.
It was bad, but you look at the
penalties.
Catalan player, though, he actually tries to do a somersault himself, doesn't he?
But you can't, I mean, you hear it in the behind the game. Brad says, stop lifting a leg.
We're not lifting
just
legs.
Don't do it. Just hold them up, let the referee call held. But there was a couple of silly things. He always tries to force the ball out, but he's been a prop. We'll go into his stats
James,
a bit later out, but his stats at the moment are a Ledsky level.
A Ledsky like. Wow.
Which we'll go on to in a second. But he was just brilliant, I thought. He's really starting to flourish under. And I don't think he's doing anything different. I think he's just been allowed to be the player that he is.
Well, and
his mind must be in the right place.
It absolutely must be, but it injects him into the heart of the action. Doesn't it, being a prop?
It puts him
where he wants to
be. And he gets plenty of ball, plenty to go forward, and like I said, being a little bit more mobile and lighter than normal props, he's able to speed it, and he's still got that mobility around to do that, and he gets us moving forward and gets a quick plate ball, and we can play off at back of it. But yeah, I thought it was immense on Friday night.
Yeah, I thought it was immense. Temporarily, I think for the rest of this year, I don't mind James Bentley at prop. Looking forward, and we are looking forward to 2025, if he is kind of spelled there, do you think he could perhaps, maybe not full time, but more of a...
He's versatile though, isn't he? You could put him anywhere. You could put him anywhere in pack, couldn't you? You could put him in front row, second two or whatever. I
think he played loose at Wigan, didn't he? And he was that loose prop. I mean, I'd apply Jared in the same rule of this as Bentley, which is, if they're both playing as they are, I don't think it really matters where you're putting them on.
No.
Because they're going to add value somewhere. Obviously, it needs to work in sync somehow, but we've seen Bentos probably play prop second row and loose. We've seen Jared play loose second row and hooker, and the both of them are just playing very well at the moment. You just want them on the pitch. So if he's a backup prop second row next year, then I certainly don't mind it. Especially if he's playing like this,
and especially if he finishes this year playing prop, he'll have had.
I don't think there's no choice.
Well, there's no one else, is there?
But he's doing such a good job of it. He's in danger making that prop shirt his own.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Rhys just said there, I echo that. They've got to be on the pitch. How they're performing, they've got to be there in some way, shape or form, regardless
Absolutely,
whether that's prop second row.
From the bench.
I know.
We're talking about a player from the bench here.
Yeah.
And we're talking about another player, bestie of the pod, from the bench, Jared, playing excellently from the bench, comes on, absolutely, like you said earlier, changes the game completely from dummy half.
That 20-minute stint after that second half, he's got 4 dummy runs on his stats, and I think every single one of them must have gone for 10 metres, and it was just clever. He
knows when to do it, doesn't he?
It's the game he's developed as a hooker, but you could see that point. The markers were lazy or they weren't there, and Jared struck, and obviously one of them was it was a beautiful try. That the whole thing about
great run
try.
from Miller, coming through. And
well,
then
it starts before that. I think it's TNW or Little Tom who's done a really quick play of the ball, which means Jared can then just get off. He takes a lovely step off the right, and then Miller's support line is excellent.
And straight through.
Great pass from Jared, and then the support was there either
Frawley
side of him.
It was nice to see them options with support.
Yeah,
It didn't just have one player, did it?
Everything about that try, but it started with little Tom's quick play the ball.
Straight up, quick play the ball, giving Jared the opportunity.
I think one of them came off Bentley's quick play the ball as well.
But that's what that speed kills you, though, doesn't it? That go forward, and like you said, find the floor, get a quick play ball, and you can play off at back of it, and that speed kills. But the clever player with Jared, like you said, he knows, he's recognising more when to do it now. Whereas some hookers will just get it and just pick and go every time or whatever. But he seems to be a bit of pick and choose when they do it.
Perfectly.
Yeah, and people know when they were reading what were going to happen. So, the players who were pushing up in support, that supported Jared when he's gone out of dummy half, if they don't turn up or support or they don't read what he's going to do, there's no support play there, and we don't score from it. But they were all in sync a little bit more on Friday.
Yeah, they were. Do you think here's another one where that utility at incredibly high standard for the rest of the year into next year?
Jared's going to cause a serious selection problem.
I think he is
on this form.
To be honest, I don't think he can stay on the bench much longer.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, he's been on the podcast a few times.
But I think you'd put him at the moment probably in the top 5 players of form at the moment at the club, maybe even top 3.
I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm asking is,
do you start him?
Is Cam Smith going on the bench?
Well, so I had a text from Mr. Fast Signs himself saying that I think next year he could be pushing for that 13 shirt. Jared sees himself as a 9, and to be honest with you, I think he's pushing for either. I think he's going to cause a serious selection problem in the off-season.
Something that I will say now is he will not be number 14 next year.
No.
I want to say a selection problem. I mean a good selection problem, by the way.
It's a good dilemma to have, isn't it?
Yeah, good young player coming through that is challenging senior players.
Yeah, and
it's going to be hard. But it's like I said, it's hard to leave him out. But if you start him, do they have that same impact? Coming in against a tiring pack or whatever and stuff and things like that. So that big Catalan pack, we were able to bring them faster, more mobile players on and get benefit of that. But
and it's a long season
we won't get that, will we? If they are in that starting, but it's a good dilemma for Brad Arthur to have, I think.
It absolutely is. Well, Rhys, you've been away on a sabbatical. It's time for some stats, but we need the stats from the past 4 weeks.
You're not getting
catch
them.
Up. Come on,
you're not getting them, and
so we'll just go back to
everyone will be a bit too bored if I do that. Right, team stats. Possession was 57%. So that's the second highest we've had so far this year. Set completion was only 64%, and that's actually the second lowest we've had this season.
We did have a little bit of a error-a-thon in middle, didn't we?
Well, I think it was in the first half.
That first half.
But also, I think that comes down to how many sets we did, because we completed 32, which is our third highest. So we've obviously had a lot. We had a lot of the ball. Carries was 212. That's the highest so far I've had this year. Meters 1,398. Average gain 6.6. Post contact meters 609. Plays in the opposition 25, which is the 5th best this year. Tackle busts 53. And that's the second best this year. Missed tackles 29. We only conceded 868 meters, which is the 3rd best so far this year.
So that's not bad.
And then errors 12 from there. And then players-wise, carries, Miller leading the way again, 23, Croft 22, and Bentley 19. Whether that's a season high for Bentley.
Bench?
Off the bench,
Keep saying a bit off the bench.
Meters, only 3 players over 100.
Miller?
Yeah.
Fussy?
Nope.
Bentley?
Yep.
Harry?
Nope.
Martin?
Yeah. So Miller.
Yeah, he made some good yards.
Made a break, didn't he?
Yeah.
Miller 213.
213?
Yeah, so that's the 3rd best by a Rhino so far this year. He's
Ash 217.
And Miller got the other one, which is like 220, 30 something.
I liked what Brad Arthur said about Lockie Miller afterwards, and he were on about, we're trying to smarten his game up a little bit so that he's not like beating the same player 5 times. He said, choose when you run and get us on that quick foot, doesn't he? He runs around player, sometimes,
steps him again,
and he ain't gone anywhere. You might as well just take your tackle, and so I think he's clear that he's been working on that with him as well.
But yeah, so Miller 213, Martin 139, and Bentley 126. I mean, Bentley got 139 last week, now 126 this week.
Yeah, so let's get numbers. You're right. From the bench,
but to back it up week in, week out, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of just to back that up a bit as well, he was also top tackler, was Bentley.
Jesus Christ.
So 38, Martin 36, McDonald.
Imagine
36.
if he'd have
started. Yeah.
Probably got 200 metres.
Average gain wise, of some players that had some good average gain figures. So Martin 9.9, Miller 9.3.
9.9 for Martin.
Yeah, Paul Momorowski 8.8. Little Tom 8.2, the best average carry for a prop. And Sango and Lisono both 7.9 as well. So the props were putting a bit more work in. Tackle busts, Miller obviously led the way because as he does, I mean he leads the league at the moment.
Yeah.
Miller's got 193 tackle busts this year.
That's just over 2 players though. He's beat the same player 90 odd times.
The next closest to him is Matt Duffy with 151, so he's 42 ahead.
That's some going that really.
He's also got the most carries in Super League as well.
I'll tell you what, he does do a lot of work, and when they were kicking, he's so casual when he catches ball. He just doesn't look at
Farge's kicks were good as well on Friday.
He's got a good boot on him, had decent hang time, and he's so casual at back. Lockie Billy's just like, and just off he goes, and then wants to ping a 20-30 yard pass into somebody.
So on the fact he's got 193 tackle busts, do you want to guess what the next nearest Rhino's got to 193?
Tackle busts.
Tackle busts, yeah. Total tackle busts. Who's in second? Or how many is the person in second place got?
88.
No, lower.
I think 65.
63.
Jesus Christ.
So a third less than
Miller. Wow.
But on the night, Miller got 13, Martin got 6, which was a season best, McDonald got 6, and Fussy got 5, which was also a season best. I thought I'd just also talk about tries and assists, because we never really talked about who's in the Rhinos, sort of who's top and who's bottom.
Who, yeah.
Obviously, Ash is at top at the moment with the try table. Miller is now second, joint with Paul Momorowski.
How many tries has Miller got?
7 each. So 7 and Paul have got 7 and Paul.
7 and Paul.
Miller. That sounds like a bingo number. 7 and Paul. 74.
Felt like that were rehearsed.
Was that?
It's good to have you back.
Just got gear in it. You just can't make this shit up.
They've missed this. They've bloody missed this.
So Miller and Paul are in second with 7 tries, and then Frawley is in third place with Martin with 6 tries.
Matt Frawley.
And then
sorry, Matt.
Assist-wise,
he absolutely is.
Assist-wise, Croft's on 17, Miller's on 13, and Frawley's on 9.
Yeah.
So just thought
you rack those stats up, and you look at Lachy Miller, and you're talking about player of the season.
Well, let's rack it all off in one go for Lachy then. So he got 1 try, 1 assist, 13 tackle busts, 23 carries, 213 metres, so 9.3 average carry, 1 clean break from there.
You're talking about player of the season stuff there. He always seems so involved in the game, Miller.
He does.
Defence, in attack. He always seems to be never a million miles away from some kind of action.
No, and that's what you want though, isn't it, from that attacking fullback? He's when he's getting ball in open play, you want him to attack, don't you? And like I said, that's what you want from your 6, 7, and your 1, chiming into that attack
together.
And them stats prove that that's what they're doing, isn't it, when they're there. But Miller, he's like you said, he's sometimes a little bit inconsistent, but he's still learning the game.
He's had his rough
patches, but I think the good ones certainly outweigh and outshine them poor patches. So if he's coming up with stats and performances like that on Friday night, you can forgive him 1 or 2 winners every now and then if it don't cost us too much.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I expect from Lachy now. I'm not going to lie. Having do the stats over this year, I know he's always going to be the top 3 carries. I know he's going to be up there in meters. The fact is, top of the tackle bus is just a given.
Yeah.
But he's doing it quite consistently from there. So I think he's another player that played very well on Friday night and deserved the plaudits. But I think the fact it was both those running lines for being involved in obviously the second try and then the last try,
the last one.
is the stuff that we need to see more and more often. That instinctiveness to back that player up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we've lacked that.
Definitely.
This year and in previous years, but that instinctiveness to back those players up in those, because he must have seen Jared go.
He must have been prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. He does it. And as a fullback or whatever, he's got to do that 99 times out. Because that one time he doesn't do it, and they make a break, and he hadn't supported. So all them other times when he plays with that push, he might not get the ball, but that one time when that break does come, but it's nice. He recognises that he's there.
He was quick to recognise it as well.
And that's what I'm saying.
He was quick to see the gaps there.
It was good that they had two other support players as well.
I like that.
There's a couple of things in rugby league where you go, that's just nice. Like one, a good tackle. Lasone got another one in this year. But when someone goes through a gap just clean, without touch, because there's a good line and a good pass,
looking left and right,
and then
he's got
the support.
That's just
side.
Nice rugby league. You just go, I like that.
That's champagne.
It's just good rugby league.
It was good. It was good, fast rugby league played out as it should and finished.
And
as
I think
it should
that, like I said, that comes from
try.
the carry beforehand with the quick play of the ball, with Jared then making the break, and then the instinctiveness of Miller. And then there was Newman on one side busting a gut, Croft and Frawley on the other side of Miller.
Loads of support with him.
I think Newman on that break, though, he was pulling his hammy afterwards. He was swinging. Yeah.
That's going to be a bit sore.
But you want players to be busting a gut to be part of it, don't you?
And they were all there, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were absolutely all there. I've just finished my application for the PCLMFC this week. It's an official membership, and I think it costs £1 a week as well.
What, I don't know what you're on about.
The producer Chris Slacky Miller fan club.
Oh, right, okay.
Fanboy, He'll
It's £1 a week.
Proud as punch, with his performance on Friday night.
He'll be waxing lyrical.
There'll be a fair few people that are back Lacky.
Definitely. Absolutely. Fussy Tour, great finish for this try. Another one where, similar to Lackey in the Wigan game, where that short amount of space backs him to score. Shout out though, and full credit to Theo Farge, because look,
it was a thankless task, wasn't it?
He made his way across and made an attempt, and Fussy just launched him straight into the East Stand, which were hilarious. But Sky man of the match, player of the match. What do you reckon
I was quite
Fussy
surprised.
Tour?
I was quite surprised he got named man of the match, because I think there was players better than him. But that try was just what I love about Fussy Tour.
He doesn't miss them there, does he?
No, I mean that amount. You've got to give Paul Momorowski the credit for that pass as well.
I didn't initially, because when it's gone,
he didn't even look, did he?
I was saying to my mate, "That's a great ball from Brody. What a ball that is!" And then he was like,
catch and pass and.
It's Mommy. I was like, that's a great ball from Mommy. But you're right. What a ball!
He wasn't looking.
No.
And it's sometimes I think Barry McDermott's on commentary saying sometimes just that instinctive play you've got to give credit for. And
he's got to chuck it out there. No, he's there.
And it was, and there was. I think Fuad Yahar had stepped in, but Fussy was still 20 metres out, probably a bit more. But yeah, I mean, credit to Theo Farge for trying to make a tackle, but you're not going to stop Fussy from.
I don't think anyone does.
But that is the sort of try that when we signed Fussy, that's what I thought we were going to see in a week in, week out. And there was a lot of things about Fussy's performance where I thought, this is the Fussy that I love, knowing that he might get injured in a game or two. But he was boshing people off when he was taking the carries in. He made a great defensive interception when the ball got kicked through and he batted it down.
It just bounced. You knew it were our eye when it just bounced straight back up into his hands.
Yeah, I mean, that was right next to that, and it was that great play. So it was a really good performance from Fussy. The stats don't really back it up, really, because he didn't really he made a good chunk of meters, but not what I'd say Ash Hanley would normally do in a game week in, week out. But that's the Fussy that I thought, that's the Fussy I like to see.
Yeah.
And it's the Fussy that I know that can bring a lot to this side.
Yeah, I agree. What do you make of his performance, Phil?
Yeah, we're good. He was good. Like I said, he took his try well. You could see him when he come across. He just thought, I'm going to have to brace myself here and just throw myself in, which he did. So he finished that well. Like I said, he seemed to have some really good defensive reads as well, didn't he? There, being able to read and stop their attack when he had to do. He gets through a lot of work, a bit like Rhys there. We needed to see it a little bit more. I know he's had a little bad luck with injuries and stuff and things like that, but his performance just showed him on Friday night what we should have been getting. A lot sooner.
He has had some bad luck with injuries, and you can't blame him for that. But I think that's just the Fussy that I liked. I know that we can get that Fussy.
It's in there,
when he's on the pitch.
Big winger, doing his job, scoring tries, and
I still think we should be kicking to him on every fifth set tackle. By the way,
well, Alfie Edgill got a little bit isolated with kicks, didn't he? Because if you looked at that right hand side,
Farge picked on him big time.
They had Newman and Edgill, didn't they? But they recognised it, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did.
They
Just
kept
good half-back
peppering him, and then you've got 6'5" fussy tour on wing and 6'4" Momorovsky. And you're like, should you go on that side a bit, just to give him a bit of protection? But yeah. But credit to them that they recognised that and tried to capitalise on it.
They did. Little Tom,
Great. That easily his best performance. Easily.
without a shadow of a doubt, I think he's playing a big part for the rest of this year. Certainly.
Well, when I watched the game back, Barry was saying that a lot of Leeds fans were calling out, why have we got Sam Esse when we've got this guy? And a lot of the commentary and a lot of the comments that I've read is that he's proved quite a few people right, and he's proved a couple of people wrong that he should have been included earlier. But
Definitely.
yeah, he was. I mean, some of the carries he was. I think some of the goal line dropout carries, he was running in at full pelt. Wasn't stopping and coming into contact. There was one
Absolutely
set where I
fearless.
think he made 3 tackles in a row, and the third one he forced a knock on.
He forced the
Yeah,
error.
he did.
That's what I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
He was on his knees
And
with
his
a fist
big
pumped
chin,
and a
yeah.
big fucking battle cry, didn't
well,
he? I thought, he's so pumped.
Well, you had the Sony in front of you as well. So, but that was, I think that was the same set where I think someone was about to break, and he just,
Got him by shirt
can't
collar,
do that.
didn't he?
I didn't realise you could do these anymore, but literally just yanked him by the back of his shirt, didn't he? And then he
did,
made the
played
next 2
well.
tackles, and then on that third one, he
Forced
forced
the
the error. It was almost a coming of age performance, maybe.
Potentially. I think it's one of those where it's saying to Brad Arthur, you don't have anyone. There's no props.
Here I am.
And yet, here I am. And I think he kind of saw it as it's a home game. It's a game we need to win if the playoffs are on, whether they think they are or they aren't. And I'm going to make sure I'm picked for every single game on the bench or starting from this point forward for the rest of the year.
I think he played that well that Sanga didn't come back on until about 65, 70 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't miss him.
And I'm not saying that was because of Sanga's performance. That was a credit to Little Tom, because previously I think it's been, we'll use Little Tom to then rest the big props and then they'll come back on. There was no point taking them off in the second half.
I think that, like I said, new era, change of coaches and stuff and things like that. He's probably recognised that he's got a bit more of a fresh start rather than under Rowan Smith. He never got a chance or all like that, and he went out on loan to York, didn't he?
Did he do about Halifax as well?
And whatever. Now he's come back and think he's been given like a fresh slate, and he's stepped up his performance on Friday night. So put him in Brad Arthur's window, hasn't he, and said, right, now try and drop me. Or
I think he needs a new deal.
I think that's the same for any of the players though at the moment,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's now
Well, they all need new deals.
now that Brad's signed for next year, this is now their old time to prove that they want to be in Brad's side next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And performances like that will go a long way from that bit. And I also I had a bit of a memory flashback then. Obviously, we
What, to your wedding night?
No. Little Tom wasn't there.
Little Rhys, what?
No, neither was Jared.
Little Rhys put in a good performance.
Absolutely not. Not after 1 second.
He wasn't there.
At the media day, obviously, when we asked Little Tom what his perfect cheat meal was, and he described a cheat day. I imagine that's what he did on Saturday. I imagine he went out and
That's
had
exactly
that
what he ate.
cheat day. I imagine the Nando's order that he had was
Enormous.
Absolutely enormous, and
well
very,
deserved.
very well deserved.
Very well deserved. You talk about Brad Arthur there. We've not had you on, or you, in fairness, since the news broke that he has signed a 1-year deal. What was your initial reaction, Statman Rhys, to the news that he's sticking around for a year?
Relief and joy. I think I'd actually become less worried about what would happen this year and more worried about what would happen if we didn't get Brad or we didn't manage to keep Brad. Because I kept saying to myself, don't fall in love with him because he's only here temporarily. But I was quite quickly just that how he comes across in press conferences when we win or lose, and what we're seeing, the changes inside. It was something that I really, really wanted. So it was a bit of a mix of relief and joy, because that's the sort of coaching appointment that we should be going out and getting.
Absolutely,
massively experienced NRL coach. That, and I think any club in Super League would dream of that appointment. So I think it's a massive step in the right direction. I think it's good it's now been sorted now, because then they've got time to. I think the Australian market opens up in November, so they can start having those conversations now with Brad of what that looks like. It gives the team know where they're going next year now, so those players know what's happening next year that are staying with us, and they know that they're going to need to perform. So it might give us, it's going to be very tight towards the end of the season. But I think regardless of what happens, I'll be happy that Brad's staying for next year.
Yeah,
so I think it's a really good move by the Rhinos, and they do need applauding, because it is an ambitious appointment, and they've got it over the line, and they've had to take a bit of a chance in him coming over on a short-term deal first.
They have,
and over the ability to woo him.
Because there were a lot of people when he came over, Phil, that said, "What's the point in him coming?"
For sure.
But this is why, though, right? This is why, to give him a flavour. We've got him for a year. What did you make of it when it was announced?
We'd spoke about it on the previous pod, hadn't we? That, it was nice for it to happen. And again, tying him down, he's come across, he obviously likes what he sees around the club and
family
with the players, everybody,
over.
and his daughter's coming across, she's taking a year out of her education, so they're fully bought into Leeds rugby as a club, and
definitely,
that type of environment, and they obviously like that. But it's stabilised us. It's come at a good time. We can go on a bit of a run these next 3-4 games that we've got.
I thought you were going to say it then.
Well,
I thought you were going to say it then.
So obviously, I saw Jared beforehand, didn't he? And he said grand final to me. Yeah. I was like, next year, Jared.
But that'd be nice. So it might be a little bit out of reach. But
I think it might sound like the wrong mentality to have, but I'm just so happy that we've got Brad out for next year that I'm kind of like, whatever happens this year is a bonus.
What will be, yes.
It'll be good to see how he gets with, like you said, that bonus this year. See how I can start to put his blueprint on how we play as a team. We're seeing that already now in certain areas.
Yeah.
So a good pre-season, good recruitment, and then 2025 year of the Rhino.
Talking to Sky after, because he was talking about pre-season. He was like, it's going to be long and it's going to be hard. And
you get that. You get those vibes, don't you? Like he's going to really break them down.
And
it looks quite scary, to be honest.
I get that, but when you watch the behind the scenes, particularly this one from this game, when you said it, at half time, it seems really calm, but incredibly firm.
Yeah, he seems calm and in control, and I like how direct he is. When he speaks, he's saying some positives, and it's constructive, and he'll give you an honest appraisal of actually what he has seen. Like I said, under previous coaches, spoke around, we've seen one thing and he's seen something completely different. Like, you're way off the mark there.
Yeah.
Whereas Brad Arthur seems to speak a language that everybody understands, and he'll always give you an honest appraisal of what he's seeing and where he thinks he's gone right, gone wrong, and what they're going to do to rectify it.
And he seems to speak like, just do whatever I tell you to do. Just follow it through and we'll win the game. It's like giving the players the belief to say, look, you might think the way I've asked you to play is wrong, but stick to it, and they're following him. That's what I read into it anyway, and I felt it was so calm, but you'd run through walls for him, so I felt in a quick...
We've seen it with Rowan, because Rowan had those calm speeches, but it's a different tone. You are right.
Definitely, yeah. Seems way more clear.
Whilst it's calm.
I don't know if it's the Aussie accent or the stronger, older
But it doesn't say
Aussie
it doesn't say a lot of words either, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's very clear, straight to
Short
the point.
and clear.
And I think you know where you stand. And he was talking about how he loves doing down by the sideline as well, because he can get the feel of the game.
He has moved, hasn't he?
It's interesting that, because one of my mates said... on Friday night, he said it's good to see him sitting down there. And I went, why? Where is he? He went, he's not up there. And he was sitting dugout.
But if you watch him, when certain players were coming off the pitch, he was grabbing hold of them quite quickly, and having a bit of a word with them either. And obviously, I'm from the other side of the stand, so I can't see. But you could, if you watch players that were coming back off the pitch, he was having words with them. Either
I bet he couldn't believe that they were allowed to sit so close, because in the NRL you're in a big box, aren't you, with the camera on you? And
right. Well, basically at the top of the north side, aren't you? Like we are normally.
It's good. So he's that's like you said, how his strengths are and how he communicates with them people, and that one-on-one, straight away to the point, concise, and telling them what they need to be doing. But
I think the club have got a really good opportunity now to get everyone on the same page again, where it's been quite fractured in the last year or two. I think they're really now on track to having the majority of people on the same page and have that one club feel back, a bit more of that unitiness back between
spirit
the
of
fans,
Rhino,
the coach, and the players, and the board as well.
Everything all back together, like you said. We've got that period of stability now, haven't we, to look to build for that next year.
At least a year with him, at least. Player ratings?
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on, let me get him back up again. Is that right? I don't know. Let's try it anyway.
To Phil for a minute.
It's fine.
Too low.
It's fine, because I can't even check on there anyway, because my phone's on there with the camera. So this is what I think they are.
Just make them up with conviction. I told you.
So
too low.
It is quite close between a fair few players. on this
Miller,
one.
Jarrod and Bentley.
So,
Fussy
Lucky
company.
Miller, 8.1,
Too low.
That's
that.
too low, I think, for Friday. Yeah.
which is actually
I mean, what were you saying? 213 metres,
230 metres, 23
a try,
carries,
assist.
try, assist, and 13 tackle bus.
What are you watching?
Yeah, I gave him a 9.
That's my player. That's my player ratings catchphrase. What are you watching?
Fussy 7.8.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Newman 6.3.
Again, every single week.
Newman,
and now
Newman were quiet though.
it's but
he did
I
a bit
think
of
it's
work, but-
becoming an issue with our listeners. How is he getting such low scores?
I'm not. To be honest, I'm not really sure how much he did.
No,
6.3
You know, we
It's
said
about
before.
an average
he's-
score for an average
for Miller.
performance.
Sorry, for Newman.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
think
too
You
low.
still need to swap him because as soon as he gets that ball, he steps back in off his
Yeah, I
right
agree with
foot
that.
and comes
That
back
absolutely
in.
needs to happen.
I mean, the majority of the player was either down the middle or the right hand side, so he wasn't really benefiting. From
I think
the
he
ball,
was
to
better.
be
What was
honest.
it? 6.3.
6.3.
I think he was better than that.
I'd probably say that's about right, to be honest.
Wow, perhaps it's just me.
I do think he's.
Why?
I do think
Perhaps
he's on
it's
the
just
wrong
me.
side. I think
He's definitely on the wrong
he doesn't
side.
work for him being on that.
As soon as he gets the ball,
Left
he
edge.
steps back inside, and he's
Yeah.
not trying to beat any defender. So he's stepping back inside
Needs
against
to
the
get
sliding defence.
Back on that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs some confidence boosting performance, Newman, because the players are there. He's having probably one of his least injury hit seasons. It's just not coming off for him for whatever reason. So I think you just hope for the next 2 games you can get a bit of confidence going. But I think that's personally, I think that's right.
Really?
Paul Morosky 7.2.
Too low.
He always scores a bit low with the fans, though, doesn't he? Taking some convincing. Edgel 6.1.
See, that's harsh.
He had a difficult night.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's harsh. That isn't it? Surely
He got pinpointed. I mean, the first try, I'm pretty sure he didn't knock it on. It looked like it came off a Catalan player, but
Yeah, it did.
he caught the one that mattered most towards the end of the game, which was probably
Yeah,
the
it
most
did.
difficult one of the 3, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
But they picked him out well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Just
Fars
good half-back
put it on
play.
him all the
Yeah.
time.
And he
I'll give
carries
some credit.
but he carries hard every time, doesn't he? For the
He does.
size of him.
Yeah.
I do think he needs to start not looking for people like Chris Satai and just trying to just go to the left of them.
He is absolutely. He is absolutely huge.
He is massive.
Bentley ran into him once, and the
Yeah,
next
he did.
carry went, "I'm
Yeah.
not doing."
I'm not running into him
Yeah,
again.
I know when we'd
Solid
scored because I
satire.
was stood, in second half, and when they were behind post, his legs, his calves were like tree trunks, all just pure muscle. He's
Glad I'm not running at
massive,
him.
yeah, absolutely massive.
Crawley 7.3s all round for both of them.
For both.
Yeah, that's why we use Crawley. 7.3 for both of them, which I think again is probably about fair.
Probably about right, isn't it?
Maybe not score wise, but the fact that they were the same score.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I'm trying to do this in team order, but it's difficult. Sam Lasone 7.0,
That's about right.
Andy Ackers 6.5,
About right.
Sangare 5.9.
Too high.
Too high.
Sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
He carried quite well at the end of the game, but it was kind of like, it's a bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's playing for his future. Catalan on buying back, he can go back home.
I think he's playing for his rugby league future.
James McDonald
Sorry, Justin.
6.8
That's too
for
low.
McDonald.
That's too
Too
low.
low.
I think there was a bit of forcing of offloads, wasn't there? I think for
Yeah.
him, he was working hard as he always has done and has been.
Tried to overplay a little bit, didn't
I
we?
think so.
I think so.
Rhys 7.9.
That's Rhys Martin back to his usual
We
scoring.
are
there.
going to miss him massively when he
Enormously.
disappears.
Absolutely enormously.
Cameron 6. God. Jared 8.7.
No. Absolutely not.
I gave him a 9.
Yeah, I give him.
Have you done Bentley?
He's next.
So what did Jared get?
8.7.
That's way too low.
Yeah.
Bentos 7.9.
I don't believe
is
you.
What?
Too low.
Are you winding me up?
No.
We aren't doing this ever again.
If they can't get that right,
We aren't doing
someone's
this ever again.
sabotaging them forms.
We're going to have to do this.
Someone gave everyone 0s except little Tom, who got a 10. I'm like,
That's little
that
Tom.
must have been little Tom.
Or his mum.
Little Tom's mum.
Yeah.
But I did delete that one because I
We're going to
thought
have to
someone's
think
taking
of
the
a
piss
way
here.
of... We're kind of producing on air, here, filtering this to just Leeds fans.
I mean, let's
because what did he get? 7?
Well, let's just go through this. He got 7.9, but he's got 19 carries, 126 metres, and he topped the tackle charts with 38.
Yeah, that's
4 tackle busts as well.
Someone's sabotaging them forms on that one.
That is absolute codswallop.
And then, like I said, when I thought there was 5 players closer in it, I thought they were going to be a bit closer, to be fair. Who I've not done yet. I've done it out of order, which doesn't help. Can you tell I've not done this for a while? Dono, 6.6, and then Tom, Nicholson, Watton with an 8.3.
Too low.
Yeah, I think I gave him a 9.
And good old Brad Arthur was an 8.8.
Too low. Everybody, we either need to think of a new way to hand that out so it's just Leeds fans. I don't know how we do that. I'll have to brainstorm.
That's his next season's problem.
Or everyone needs to pay attention to what they're watching.
well, that'd be easier.
Some people watching this will be saying it about me. But it's just, honestly, I just think, how? No. So, that's what our viewers, that's what our listeners, that's what the people on social media think. So they've got Tom Nicholson Watton.
No.
Lackey.
Jared is currently top.
Yeah, we're 8.7.
8.7.
So they've got Jared.
Tom
as man of
Nicholson
the
Watson
match.
second at 8.3. And Lackey at 8.1. Then with Martin and Bentley on 7.9.
Jared won it last week. Bestie of the pod. The player ratings say he's in line. But who's your Fast Signs player of the match?
Rhys. I don't know. It's a really hard one. This, because like I said,
This is one of the
Miller,
hardest ones we've done in a long time.
Fussy got Skyman at match, didn't he? Lockie Miller got it announced over
at the club,
at the club. So that they're in contention.
Bentley were a beast.
Jared
Janet
O'Connor off a beast, and little Tom. If I had to pick, I'd go Miller purely for his carries, his attack, his smarted things up, and his support play in terms of that, and his kick returns.
I'll just shuffle over to my left to Statman Rhys.
It is really, really difficult, this.
Where are you going?
It's a hard one. It's hard.
Miller surprises me every time because I always think he's played well. But then when
not gonna go Miller, is
when
he?
he got player of the match, I thought, oh, really? I thought there was 2 other players that stood out a lot more to me.
Yeah.
But then you see his stats, and I'm there going, as a stat man, I should really be pushing towards Miller because those stats are unbelievable. 23 carries, over 200 metres, 13 tackle busts. I mean, and then, like you say, his instinctive play for the second try in particular, he did play very, very well. I thought Jared was part of the reason that the game and the speed of the game changed, and I thought it was a big reason why we won that game and we got more control of that game. But they're not gonna get my vote.
Bentley.
I think it, and I actually should really be giving a massive nod to Bentley as well because I know there was a couple. I think Steve Hodgson was saying it should be Bentley. There's quite a few people that.
Are you not going Bentley?
And I'm not going to go Bentos.
TNW.
I think little Tom deserves massive credit for a massive performance.
Little Tom, wow!
His best ever game so far for us. I think Little Tom is my man of the match.
That's a new name in this arena.
Well, it is. It absolutely is. So that's like 3 different votes.
But I do.
Listeners, Jared, Phil Miller,
yeah,
Reese,
yeah.
Little
But
Tom,
I do think it's very close
and me,
between
Bentley. So who's gonna?
Oh, you're under pressure now. You had casting vote then.
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? How can we decide it?
Stats.
Do you know what? What the stats? I'm gonna say let's go to the player ratings, but Bentley's 7.9.
I think we've got to vote for one. It's got to be one of them.
I think Bentley.
I mean, I'm happy with
Even though I wrote down Miller there.
I'm happy with any one of them. Like I said, that was purely for my reasons alone. I went for Miller. I agree.
My arm can be twisted for Little Tom.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's go with Little Tom then, because he
I
did
think
put in
Little
a good
Tom.
performance, and it's nice to have a new name in this.
A new name.
I think the bit that's swaying it for me is that it's his best performance in a blue and amber shirt.
I think that swayed it for me as well. Is he's been on the pod,
and it's the most famous accolade in rugby league.
Thank you. Do you hear this, Andy? Yeah, let's do it then. Fast Signs man of the match, player of the match.
You do realise Miller's been on the pod as well.
Oh God! And so has Jared loads of times.
You can't have favourites, Eddie. You're not allowed favourites.
We're not allowed favourites.
Bentley's not been on it, so yeah. Sorry, James, you're not.
Yeah,
James.
Well, he's right.
Forget
out.
I even
He's out.
mentioned,
Then, yeah.
But I think any 4 of them could win it. But I just think that
I
giving
agree.
credit to a young player, his best performance in a
And I
league
loved his
shirt.
battle cry when he forced that error.
Yeah, and that free tackle set, which is brilliant that he did. So yeah, I think for me, it's Little Tom.
Little Tom Nicholson Watton officially the Fast Signs player of the match. Gentlemen, do you have anything else to say before we...
Do you want to know how the player ratings are forming up as we come into the final 4?
Good idea.
games
That
of
is
the
a really
season?
good idea.
Because it's still...
Now, you gave us this You gave us a little rundown.
Probably 7 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, I would say about
And
2 months ago.
I think Ash was on 6.4.
Rhys.
Croft 6.3.
Was it Rhys?
Martin 6.2
Oh,
and Ledsky
Mick, yeah,
6.1.
Mick,
So it was all very, very close.
Yeah.
Could change now though with a bit of injuries and that.
Has it? Let's find out.
It has changed. So with 6.1, I'll work my way up, is Jared and Andy Ackers.
Wow. They're forcing the way in.
Alfie Edgell is also on 6.1 as well. In next place, I think the next one I can find is 6.2, which is James Bentley. So his new form recently is starting to push him up.
Because he missed
Obviously,
a lot of games.
He missed a big chunk in the middle, but that's now bringing him up his current form.
Essentially, what you're saying is just play well for these last 4 games.
You get player of the season.
Bentos
You'll get the lot pod player of the season.
could be in it. 6.3 is a Ledsky.
But he's done.
He's back. Well, he said he was going to be back in the next couple of weeks. He might
Really?
be back for next 2. He said another couple of weeks.
So
he
he's
said.
perhaps not done then.
In joint second, Ash Hanley
Who is done.
He's done.
and Rhys Martin with 6.4.
Who's not? So it's Croft.
And in top place is currently Brodie Croft, 6.5.
Wow.
So it's still completely close. You know, Ash Hanley's not out of the race because if everyone performs really badly, he might
That's
come back.
true.
Yeah,
So he can still
lose
get-
every
and
game
that-
from
and
this
we
point.
know that could happen.
Lose every game from this point forward.
So yes, at the moment, Brodie Croft is leading the way, but he has got Martin, Ledsky, potentially Bentley, and Jared and Andy Ackers on his heels.
Had Mick been, if he does come back, if he'd have stayed fit, I reckon he'd have won that.
Just a consistent.
But then again, it's the player ratings, and they just gave Bentley a 7.9, which is.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while to get over that one.
Traumatise you that, mate. hasn't
Yeah, it has. It's really hit me square between my legs. Anything else? All done?
No, that's it. Now.
Happy? Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Rhys.
Welcome.
Great to have you back. Great to see you again. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube as we crawl our way to 1,000 subscribers. Make those burner accounts and subscribe for us. We really don't care. I think what I'll do is...
Start making burn accounts for the player ratings.
I'm doing that already. Yeah. Actually, a good
someone's
idea.
doing that, aren't they?
Someone is. I think what I'll do is, as a bit of an incentive, when we get to 1,000 subs, I'll stop asking you to sub.
and we'll donate a shirt. There we go. We'll donate.
There
a
you
shirt.
go. We'll give you a shirt.
Not of your choice though, because I'm not giving one of my favourites away.
No, we'll put your name into a hat, and so there you go. Some incentive for 1,000 subscribers. So go to YouTube, search the Lot Pod. That's us. That's our logo. And subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars. We are totally worth it, and it just boosts us up those podcast charts. Similarly with iTunes, but it has to be a typed review, and it's got to be a nice one as well. And again, it just makes us more visible to everybody on
You
iTunes.
can say whatever you want as long as it's 5 stars. I don't really mind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
You
true.
can say we're the most terrible
5
podcast in
stars.
the
Could you
world.
hear, George?
5 stars.
Shit pod. It's more than sufficient. It's actually a compliment. And if you enjoy what we do, if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy everything we do, all the content we create on the Lot Pod, please also consider subscribing to our Patreon page. Subscriptions are available from £1, £3, £5, or a one-off donation, whatever you feel, whatever you're comfortable with. All of our content will always be free. The Patreon's just there to chuck us a few quid so we can improve what we do, how we look, and buy some additional makeup for my massive face when we record these podcasts. We'll be back with a weekly roundup for is it London next?
London.
For the London game. You're going.
I am going. I think Laurie's going as well. Duncan's going. There's
That's
quite
exciting.
a few that are going down to Wimbledon, which will be a new
A few
ground.
Lot Pod down there. Enjoy everyone, and we'll be back with that weekly roundup for the London game and, of course, the review for the match review panel pod. Take care.